So, see, the question now is this: what can we do to change things? Because it's very important to change things if we agree that education is the most important thing when it comes to our development.
Right. Yeah, I mean that question is it's a layered, it's a layered one because how we go about fixing the African education system or really creating an African education system. Everything that we're seeing now, we have charities like internationally that come in and try and patch things up with their read and write systems and all of that kind of stuff. But no one, but I think the reality is that it is a governance. It's a governance problem. It is, and I hate that because I'm always I like to push the idea that as the people we have a lot of like power in terms of what we're creating in our society, and that to some extent is true, but in terms of mass change, in terms of getting something done quickly and effectively, it starts with the government. Like they need to create or give the space for something like that to be created, because at the end of the day, 90% of students in Nigeria or many other parts of Africa can't afford the higher end schools. So if we're trying to make any big changes quickly, it is the government schools. In Nigeria specifically, it's not even that easy to go to the government and say, hey, I'd like to help one of your schools. I have no idea why there's so much secrecy. Perhaps the secrecy is because of shame, because they know that the system or the situation is so dire that they don't want you to now go and get a camera and start showing everybody what's happening in terms of the state of the education system. But the reality is, I think African leaders need to hold their hands up and say, listen, we haven't done anything. We would like to do something. We need help. And rather than this patchwork system of, let's just add to this, let's just do that. It needs to start. It's a rehaul. It's a starting again. We clear away what we have and we create something that actually is for Africans, by Africans, but created so that Africans can actually play on a global stage. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to become like just within ourselves. We want to be part of the rest of the world. And so our education system should reflect that. But there are unique issues, there are unique problems or factors within Africa that have to be accounted for when we're creating a system that currently isn't being accounted for. For example, like the lack of funds by like 90% of the people, or I can't remember the stat, but the number of people living below the poverty line is such that even if we give them free education, there are 10,000 other things in their way. So how do we make sure that that young child that has now had access to education is feeding at home to make sure that they're able to think when they come to school, or all the other things that the government just isn't taking into account? We've just said free education and hopes for the best.
Well, so for me, I mean, hey, I'm not one to advocate for government to take over everything. Okay, I'm not at all. But I believe that in our countries we should mandate 12. Actually, I told you the last time, 12 years of schooling. Okay, it should be compulsory. Okay, and to help the poorest of the poor, at least breakfast, lunch should be free to all the students.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's another issue. If breakfast and lunch is provided by the government, there is a lot of wiggle room for a lot of shenanigans to happen in that space again. Okay, but hey, compulsory 12 years of schooling and breakfast, lunch, at least.
If we can start,
I mean, with breakfast and lunch, even those whose parents can give them dinner,
Right. They would be okay. They
okay,
they
they will
be
be
able to
okay.
survive. Yeah.
Okay, all they need to do is gari for dinner. Yes, I mean, hey, gari for dinner, and all they will suffer that for the next 12 years. I mean, hey, let's assume that their parents are so desperate they can't do it. Yeah, they will suffer that for the next 12 years. At least they will be healthy. Okay. And by the time they come out of 12 years of at least standard, good, reasonable standard of education, they can do something.
Right.
They can work. Okay. See, I used to advocate, oh, everybody goes to, no, I don't see now. In fact, I started changing my mind nearly 15 years ago. Okay. That no, we see for me, I see a lot of people who go to university when I was in Nigeria, and they come out and that once my first job in banking was HR, okay, for the first 2 years, okay, I was in HR recruitment and training, okay. So a lot of people come to me that are looking for jobs, okay, and I ask them the question, what job are you looking for? And I hear anything. See, this is what I did one time, but I try to tell the young lady, no, don't tell me anything. Tell me, what kind of job are you looking for?
Right.
When she continually insisting anything, you know what I did? I looked for a broom on the corner,
I think that's what you would say.
gave it to her, sweep. She started looking. I say, you said anything.
Right.
Okay. So the point is this. We have a lot of people who go to university. They spend 4 or 5 years of university and they come out and they're looking for anything. Okay, that tells me the educational university education didn't add value to that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that makes you actually think of something, because I think when we look at the education system in the UK or in the West, I'm sure at one point it was to solve problems, but today that's not the focus. The focus is to fit people into the system or whatever or what have you. But in Africa, our focus has to be to solve problems. If like you said,
we have too many problems.
We have too many problems.
So we need people to learn how to solve this problem.
Exactly. And I think that then that should be the primary focus of an African education system, is one built on how do we have a series of problems. How is your path of education going to solve this? That essentially is, if you come out, like you said, of the education system saying, I'm looking for anything, then that we failed. Like that, we failed on that mission, which is to create problem solvers. And if we're not doing that, I frankly don't know what the education system in Africa should be doing other than that. There's just too much to solve to bring another person that just is educated for the sake of educated, or has knowledge for the sake of knowledge. We don't have time or space for that.
After you learn, you gain skills which you can put in use immediately. Okay, you can start buying books like me. Yeah. Buy any book and read them. See, that's why I advocate that 12 years of schooling, so that at least you have the ability to pick up a book, to continually educate yourself further if you want to.
Right.
Okay. So nobody will tell you what to do. If there's something you want to learn, pick up a book, learn it.
That's it.
Okay. If you want to study law, medicine, some fantastic engineering, okay, basic science, yes, you need to go to university for that, for those, okay? But there's so many things you don't need to go to the university.
So many
things, okay? You've learned the basic mathematics, English, and history. See, I advocate maths, English, history, philosophy, ethics. Those are things that, for me, somebody who comes out of a secondary school must have a grasp of those things. Then you can add on to other things, okay? But those things, it will help us build at least a generation of young people who understand some basic things about society, okay? And then they can add on from that there are different flavors of what they want to be, you know? So I don't know. We are here sitting down talking about it, but the people who should be talking about it should be the guys in the Ministry of Education. Unfortunately, I won't be surprised if you go to Nigerian's Ministry of Education tomorrow, and by 12, and you can only find 1/5 of the workers.
Oh,
so
goodness! If you don't laugh, you cry. Yeah, the current state of the education system is dire, in the sense that I haven't again heard any real talks of change or improvement, and that's even more scary as far as I'm concerned. The fact that a conversation isn't being had about the what is glaringly obvious is really sad, because education is a long game, right?
Yeah.
So if we're not talking about it now, I'm looking at 20 years from now. Where are we? It's not the moment that the issue is that if you're not talking about it now, I can kind of see the future. So something needs to be done very quickly, and it doesn't take long to change these things if we have systems in place. Within a generation, things can change, but we need
the one thing that is happening at least in Lagos, okay, at least I know about Lagos. Those schools that were built by missionaries have been given back to the missions, okay? So they're like private schools in terms of the administration is not government, but the church or mosque or whatever that built those schools. My school, for example, is back to the Anglican mission. Okay. Yeah. So we old students are very much involved in putting things together, you know. So it's interesting. At least we have a few schools which we may have may produce better students in the future, you know. But a country like Nigeria with maybe over 130 million people, young people, we need schools that are run by the government. So
yeah, exactly. I do wonder, though, hearing you speak, whether another angle could be through the exams board. If we change the exam itself, what people are aiming for, schools by default will be forced to change what they are teaching.
I mean, the exam boards in Nigeria are still run by the same Ministry of Education. So
I just wondered the
exam board
of a test.
Exam board, at least secondary school, it's a West Africa board.
Yeah, the WIAC one. Yeah.
Yes, it's a West African board. Okay, so I don't know much about that, But see, I will say this. Even though I haven't seen the kind of exam papers they have been putting out for the last few years. 20 years ago, they still had interesting. I mean, see, let's say this. I see young Nigerians who go to school in Nigeria, okay? They come out sharp people. They know a lot of things. Now, all those people I'm talking about, their parents can afford to put them in private schools. Okay. So the issues we are addressing today is not for those that can go to private schools.
Right.
We're talking about the regular person, okay, whose parents cannot afford private schools, who need the schools built and administered by government.
Right.
So I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know what you guys can do. You guys are in the educational system.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm more interested in after secondary school, you want to go further. After university, you want to go further. Yeah. But me, I'm not a teacher like that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think like our focus, obviously, even at Vemoye, is specifically this area. If I'm honest, is this space, but we're doing it from outside, and it's just a lot harder. It's a lot harder to make change from the outside, outside of the government, outside of the decision makers at the end of the day. And so yeah, I'm right in the thick of these conversations, and
you get there.
Figure it
okay
out.
So I'm trying to encourage you to
thank you
follow your way in
inside.
little by little, but make sure you keep your standard. Don't bro in and you join them. Make sure. Yeah.